Yes, I'm joined here with Lee Stewart from Sands Investments.
Hello, Olivia.
Hello. So I want to pick your brains about what exactly it is that you do. So how did you get into property investment?
I got into property back in 2013, early 2013. A very good friend of mine, who's now actually my business partner, he was working for a property investment company at the time. And he explained to me the basic principles of property, how you could buy a property that needed some work done to it and then sell it on for more money and potentially get all your money back out and go again, make more money, or hold it yourself. And this really got me interested. It really flicked my switch and I thought, property sounds actually pretty cool. At the time I was a mechanic and I didn't know anything about property. But after that I started reading books, I went along to some training courses, I went to some events, and I just learned more and more and more about property. I found out about a load of different strategies that you could do, and I just started thinking, actually, this is something I could really do and get into, and I could quite enjoy it.
So from that moment in 2013 to making your first investments, how long did that take?
So I got made redundant in May 2013 after talking quite a lot about property and my boss hearing about it and saying to me, well, if you think you can do it, well, like, see you try kind of thing, giving me the sack. And then in October 2013, so around 6-7 months-ish, I was able to get my first rent-to-rent property and got the ball rolling, shall we say.
So it's not exactly something you've always wanted to do, you sort of fell into it.
Yeah, I've always liked cars. I've always been a bit of a grease monkey, as it's called, and a mechanic. But yeah, after I got explained about property, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed being a mechanic, but you know, to do that for the next 40 years of my life, a fairly basic salary wasn't particularly fooling me with a life full of whatever I could achieve and do. Whereas property, I can, you know, I can create a large business that take care of me and my family, hopefully for life.
So what was it about property investment that appealed to you rather than something like cars?
Passive income. As soon as I learnt the term passive income, i.e. make money while you sleep, or do something once and get paid forever for it, I started thinking, well, that's what I want to do. How come I was nearly 28 at the time, I'd never heard the term passive income, that you could do something once and you get paid on it time and time again. So I just thought, I need to get involved in this. I want more passive income in my life so I can do whatever it is I want to do with my life.
And was there much of a risk involved?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's going from the safe, secure job that I had working as a mechanic or an engineer to then starting a completely unknown business with no money behind me whatsoever. Yeah, there was huge risks.
So how did you get really started in the investment if you had no money behind you?
So the strategy rent-to-rent is a really cool strategy where you don't actually need to buy a property. You're using other people's assets to their full potential. So you become sort of a managing letting agent. And I would take a property, normally a 4 or 5 bed property, it's quite a big property, and rent it as a company from the owner, and then I'd rent out each room individually to individual people, and I make the money in the middle, the difference. So I didn't need to buy the house itself.
So how does that work in a house? You have to have separate entrances, or
No,
is it a standard house?
Yes, it's a house share. So basically people will rent a room, and these are nice rooms. You know, we go for nice high-end properties, so they're big rooms, they've got en-suites. It's a lot more affordable for people to do that than to rent their own place. Yeah. It's a lot more flexible because they don't have to rent it for 6 months or they don't have to pay any bills. They can come and go as they please, so within a month or two they can move on. We don't hold people back, so if they are in the area, normally it's people that are new to the area, new to our area of Peterborough, and they don't know Peterborough at all, so they want the flexibility of renting a room, cheap, get to know Peterborough, get to know the area before they find an area that they like, and then they'll probably rent or buy a whole property themselves.
Very clever. So outside of work, which obviously seems to take up a lot of your time, what are your interests?
So I'm a big animal lover. I've got a dog, he's called Baz, and he's a rescue dog, and I've always had a dog since I was little. And once a week I go to a rescue shelter just outside Peterborough, and this rescue shelter takes in stray and unwanted dogs, some of which might have been abused or they've been abandoned. Some come from the pound, so they're due to be put to sleep, and this shelter is sort of like their last chance before they are ultimately destroyed. So I go there once a week and I help clean, feed, walk, do whatever I can. So at the minute it's only a few hours a week, but ultimately what I'd love to do one day is buy my own plot of land and build my own rescue shelter and hopefully rehome some dogs. So that's one thing I'm passionate about. I'm also passionate about, you know, exercising, being healthy. I like doing talks and just hopefully inspiring people with some stuff that I've done and giving back and helping other people as well.
When you say being healthy, what
Yeah.
exactly do you mean?
So for the last 12 months I've become a vegetarian, and I've just become a bit more conscious to what I'm eating and putting into my body, and also the exercise that I'm doing as well. So I just enjoy being active, and not that I was a really big kid when I was at school, but I was on the, shall we say, chunkier side. But for the last 12, 18 months I've actually managed to keep my weight down. Even over Christmas, for example, I was still exercising and keeping my weight down. So I've just generally sort of turned a corner, I feel, in being healthy and being active. So I think it's important. I want to live to be as old as I can. And
Absolutely.
yeah, eating crap. Can I say crap? Eating rubbish and yeah, just not really look after myself is not going to...
How do you fit it all in, though? Are you one of those people that needs a routine?
I am very organised. Yeah, I'm very structured in my days. I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I always make sure that I'm trying to hit the pillow by 10:30. I always make sure I know exactly what I'm doing the next day and the next week. So yeah, I'm very organised and I do structure myself very well. Well, I believe I do. If I'm doing something and I know it's going to take my full attention, then for the next however long it takes, 2, 3, 4 hours, my phones will go off. Like I won't have any contact with anyone, and I'll be solely focused on this one thing. So yes, I'm fairly structured and, shall we say, responsible with my time.
What do you think about social media?
Weirdly enough, I was having this conversation a few days ago with a friend of mine. It's good for a lot of things, like it's bringing everyone together, and but on the other hand, it also, people nowadays are striving for likes, they're striving for retweets, and I do sometimes feel that people are just saying stuff for the fact of somebody else or other people to like it. Yeah. And sometimes, I know from me, I do sometimes think, am I going to post this because I'm worried what people might say about it, and it's going to come across either wrong or there's going to be naysayers. So I'm even finding with me in property, if I post about a deal that we've just done, for example, there might be a few people that will say, oh, that doesn't look like a good deal to me, or it doesn't work out from what I can see. So there's always naysayers, there's always people that are going to try and knock you down a peg or two. So in that instance, social media can be bad, but I think overall, generally, like, we could sit here now, you could go on your phone, I could go on my phone, do a Facebook Live, and we're speaking to thousands of people.
Good idea.
Instantly. So it's... And that's only going to grow. Like, VR is the next thing, virtual reality. People will be able to sit here in the room with a headset on.
Oh yes, those big things that let you feel like you're skiing when you're not.
We're on, like, in my opinion, we're on the cusp of like a technological complete shift in the way that we are. TVs, I think, will be a thing of the past. Eventually, mobile phones will be a thing of the past. No. In 20 years' time, I think kids will say, you used to hold your phones in your hand and put it up to your ear, because it will be implanted in us, right? It will be in our ear or something like that. So that's just the way that we're evolving. So I think social media is great. It's not going anywhere. And no matter what is created in the world, there's going to be good and bad uses for it.
Very diplomatic. What about your own personal goals and ambitions? Where are you going?
So, as I said, I do have a passion for dogs and building rescue shelters.
Except your rescue shelter.
Yeah, that is something that I do want to do. But I mean, for the property business, we're now doing new build development. So for us, we take a plot of land, and it might be an acre or two, and we're building new houses on. So for me, I want to carry on doing that. It's completely different to obviously renting rooms out in one house. Now what we're doing is building little mini communities, and they're really nice high-end properties as well. They're not like a 1 or 2 bed house. These are 4 or 5 big bedroom houses, really nice high-end properties. So I want to carry on doing that. We got aims to do at least number 2 projects this year, and also the HMOs that we're doing, which is similar to the rent-to-rent strategy. I want more of them, more passive income, and I'd love to do more talks and hopefully share my story and inspire a few people, and like I say, obviously do the dog rescue thing as well.
Oh, well, you've definitely inspired me, and I'm actually sat here wondering how I can start investing better in property. So thank you so much,
No
Lee.
problem.
That was Lee Stewart from Sands Investments.